and maybe for 1 month. Everything maybe, huh? Let me check. Let you better check it in the college website.
Okay.
Okay, the notice, I think notice will be there. Yes, notice is there. I have seen one notice in our WhatsApp group yesterday. It is there. Please check it in the college website. Notice by
Okay, ma'am. We
principal,
will
ma'am.
check.
Huh? Tomorrow is a holiday. Okay. So we have some more classes in this timetable. Today I have a class, Thursday I have a class, and maybe Friday I have two classes, right? So 4 classes I have per week with you. Uh, so division, okay. So we are discussing about the production. Any question? Whatever I have discussed about the production, any question from there? No. Okay, fine. So this is the division of the chapter. This is how we are going to discuss this chapter. We will divide this chapter in two parts, the short run and the long run. And I said short run means the time when at least one factor of production is fixed. Okay. So as we have only two factors of production, one is labor, another is capital. So in the short run, we assume capital as fixed. So you can change your production level with change in labor employment. Capital has no importance here. But in the long run, we will change both labor and capital because long run is a time when all the factors are variable. Okay, so this is how we are going to discuss this chapter. So again, now as I said, in the short run, only labor is a variable factor. So we will discuss short run absolutely in terms of labor only. Okay, no capital will be there. Now, these are the two new concepts for the production. The first one is the average product of labor, and the second one is the marginal product of labor. Okay. Now, what is the first one? Average product of labor. We are calling it as APL. How we are writing average product of labor? Very simple. Total amount of output produced, that is Q, divided by total amount of labor employed, L. Okay. So total output divided by total labor employed. Fine. So then just a ratio. So it is the average product of labor. So on an average, a single labor is producing how much of output. This is your average product of labor. And the marginal product of labor is calling as MPL. Okay. It is the change. Remember, it is not addition. Please don't say it addition. It is the change. It is the change of the output production due to 1 unit change in labor employment. Okay. It is the change of output production due to 1 unit change in labor employment. Okay. So if you increase labor, then your output will increase. If you decrease labor, then your output will also fall. So that is there. So it's better to say change. Okay. So any question from these two ideas? We are going to draw the lines and everything, but before that, about this concept, about the definition of these two, any question from there? One is APL, another is MPL. Okay. Any question? So here we have a law of diminishing marginal physical return. This is very similar to law of diminishing marginal utility. This is called, here it is, law of diminishing marginal physical return. What the law is saying? Marginal product of labor initially increases, attains maximum, and falls thereafter. After a certain level, it becomes negative. So what is the shape of the marginal? The law is telling about the shape of the MPL. Okay, so initially it is increasing, attains maximum, then after falling, and after a certain level it is negative. Okay, so this is your MPL. If you are measuring quantity here and you are measuring MPL here, then this is your MPL curve. So the law is saying nothing but about the shape of your MPL curve. Okay, so any query from this law, and you can prove this law first. Yeah, a law of diminishing marginal utility, you could not prove it because it depends on the cardinal approach of the utility, and which is not at all realistic. But law of diminishing marginal physical return, you can check it. What is the exact shape of the MPL curve for your production process? You can check this whether this law is true there or not, because data is available. Okay, so any question from this slide? Am I audible, by the way?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So now you have the total product curve. This is the shape of total product curve. Look, very uneven. Here in the horizontal axis, you are measuring labor employment, and on the vertical axis, you are measuring the total product. Okay, so if you are employing more and more labor, then initially total product, first of all, it is rising. Total product is rising initially. It is rising at the increasing rate. Then after it is rising at the decreasing rate, attains maximum, and then after it is negative. Okay, so this is a congestion phase. Actually, you have employed a lot of factors so that they are making problem among themselves, and the total product is falling. So this is that phase, and this is not at all desirable from the production side. Okay, but what about this shape? Why it is not simple upward rising? Why first convex then concave? This is because of the law of diminishing marginal physical return. Okay, marginal physical return is saying initially your marginal product is rising. So as it is rising, so if you are employing more and more labor, the total product is increasing more than that. Okay, so that is why it is convex. Then after, your marginal product is falling. So if you are employing more and more labor, the total product is rising but lesser than the employment level. So that is why the total product is now increasing at the decreasing rate, then attains maximum. And when your marginal product is negative, then total product is falling. Okay, so that is the reason behind this abnormal shape of the total product curve. Fine. Now, what is the shape of the average product curve? Average product curve is called, this shape is called inverted U shape. Okay, this shape is called inverted U shape, just inverse of the U. Okay, inverted U shape. So you know what is APL? APL is Q by L, right? So for this total product curve, if you want to find out um, APL for this amount of labor, so for this amount of labor, you are going to find out APL. Then how to get it? This is the Q and this is the L. So Q by L, that means if you draw a line from origin up to this point, tan theta, if this is theta, then tan theta is Q by L. Do you get my point? Tan theta means what? Height by base. Tan means height by base. Okay, so you have it. Height is Q and base is L. So Q by L is tan of this angle. Any question?
No, ma'am, clear.
Okay. So if similarly, look here, if for this amount of labor, this is the value. So you can understand the theta is rising. So your APL is rising. Up to this point, your APL will rise. when this line is tangent to total product curve. Up to this point, APL is rising. Then after, if you draw another line like this, then your theta is falling. Okay. So after this point, your APL is falling. As initially APL is rising, 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 then after it is falling. So APL is inverted U-shape. This is the reason behind the inverted U-shape curve of your APL. Now the marginal product curve. Again, as I have already done this, it is again inverted U-shape. And from the total product curve, how can you get it? MPL means the change of quantity due to 1 unit change in labor. So this you can get by making a tangent. Okay, just a tangent like this. Just a tangent like this. So here you are getting the maximum tangent. So MPL corresponding to this point is highest. Up to this point, your MPL is rising. The slopes are rising. After this point, the tangent is falling. The tangent is becoming flatter and flatter. So MPL is falling. At this point, as the APL is equal to MPL, look here, this line is already tangent, right? So at this point, you have APL is equal to MPL, and then after, again, if you draw the tangency line like this, at this point, at this particular point, it's parallel to the horizontal axis. So your MPL is 0. Then after, if you want to draw the line MPL, so it's negative. Okay, the slopes are negative. So what is up to this point, MPL is positive. Then after MPL is negative and MPL is falling. I should say up to this point MPL is rising. Then after MPL is falling. For this particular value of labor, APL is equal to MPL. At this level of labor employment, MPL is equal to 0. And then after, if you employ more labor, then MPL is negative. Okay, so this is the thing, and this is the diagram of all in a single diagram. Okay, so look, your total product curve is like this. For this particular point, this is at maximum APL. This is done actually, these are the slopes, so you can understand. If you just go through the slope, you can see the slopes are rising. So your MPL is rising. At this point, MPL is maximum. Okay, then after, the slopes are falling, so MPL is falling. Here the slope is parallel to the horizontal axis, so MPL is 0. Then after, the slopes are negative, so MPL is negative. Okay, so this is how you can derive MPL curve from your total product curve. And this is a combination. The combination curves may come. What is the relation between the short run curves? This type of questions may come. So in that case, you have to draw this diagram. Here, you know what is the shape of the total product curve? It's like that. You can draw your MPL curve. MPL, the maximum of MPL is coming first. Maximum of APL is coming after that. And at the maximum of APL, MPL is equal to APL. Okay. Then after MPL is falling, APL is also falling. Okay. But after this point, after L3 labor of employment, MPL is negative. So this is, look at this diagram carefully. You may have to draw this diagram in your exam if the question will come. So look at this diagram. Don't look at S1, S2, S3, that I will explain, but just look at the relationship between these three lines and ask your question.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, can you repeat that point when APL is maximum?
Yes. APL is maximum means here, na? Just a minute. Or you can look this. This is a neat one. Look here. APL is maximum when the line which is coming from origin is tangent to your TP. Other than that, here it is not tangent. Okay, tan theta is there for a particular point, but here you are, when you are going to find out the tan theta for this labor employment, this line is becoming tangent. Then after, again the theta values are falling. Up to this point the theta values are rising. Then after, if you make the lines from origin to that particular point, these like this, then the theta values are falling. So again your APL is falling. So just at the point where the line from origin on TP is tangent, that point corresponds to the maximum of APL.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And as it is tangent, MPL is equal to APL at that point. Okay, because MPL is corresponding to the tangency
Yes, ma'am.
in the total product curve. Okay. Any other question? Now let me explain 3 stages of production. This type of questions also coming. Generally, this type of questions are coming. Explain 3 stages of production. So these are the 3 stages: stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So what is the feature of stage 1? At stage 1, MPL is greater than APL and APL is rising. That is the feature of stage 1. Okay, stage 1 level of production. Stage 1 level of production is when APL is rising and MPL is greater than APL. Stage 2, in stage 2 level of production, APL is greater than MPL and MPL is falling. Okay, MPL is falling and APL is greater than MPL. This is the features of stage 2. What is the feature of stage 3 level of production? At stage 3, MPL is negative. Okay, so these are the 3 stages of production. Stage 1, where MPL is greater than APL and APL is rising. Stage 2, where APL is greater than MPL and MPL is falling. Stage 3, where MPL is negative. Okay, so these are the 3 stages. Now the question is, why I am discussing about the 3 stages? Because here the producer has to decide where to produce, which level of employment he will do. L1, L2, L3, where? So producer has to take the decision. Now look, first of all, you can cancel out stage 3. Because for stage 3, your MPL is negative. That means if you are employing more and more labor, the total output is falling. So this is not at all desirable for the producer. Producer is not interested at all about the stage 3. So he will cancel stage 3. He is not coming to stage 3. What about stage 1? In stage 1, APL is rising. Okay, APL is rising means total output is greater than total Q by L. This is greater than 1, right? APL is rising. That means if you are employing more and more labor, APL is rising, or quantity production is rising more than that. If you are employing 1 additional unit of labor, then total output is rising more than 1. This is why your APL is rising. Now, change of APL with respect to L is greater than 1. That is why it is positively sloped here. If it is, then you are very happy, right? Then you are very happy. I am employing 1 unit of labor and the output is rising more than 1. So I am very happy. And as I am very happy, then I am employing more and more labor, right? I am increasing my output level. Because more employment means more than that amount of output, right? So I cannot stop labor employment in stage 1. If I am employing L1, then I should employ more than L1, more than L1, more than L1, like this. So I cannot stop labor employment in that stage. The stage is encouraging me to employ more and more labor. And that is why I am leaving stage 1 and coming to stage 2. So ultimately you have to employ, you have to produce in stage 2 level of production. So what is the feature of stage 2? In stage 2 your MPL is falling but APL is greater than NPL. Okay, so where should producer produce? The answer is producer should produce in stage 2. Your question from this stage difference?
Ma'am, for the stage 1, Q by L greater than 1 and Q greater than L.
Not Q by L greater than 1. Del APL del L greater than 1. Or del APL del L greater than 0.
APL greater than del APL by del L greater than 0.
Hmm.
Okay,
है ना?
ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, can you please repeat stage 1 and stage 2 once more?
Yes. In stage 1, your APL is rising. Okay. What is the implication of increasing APL? That means if you are employing more and more labor, the output is rising more than that. That is why APL is rising. APL is Q by L. So if you are increasing your denominator, the numerator is rising more than that, then only your ratio is rising. Do you get my point?
Yes, ma'am.
So Q by L is rising. L is rising. That means Q is rising more than L. Then only Q by L will rise, right? So in stage 1, you are increasing L. That means L is rising. The curve is showing Q by L is rising. That means Q is rising more than L. So if you are employing one additional labor, your output will rise more than 1. Do you get the point?
Ma'am, can you please repeat that part, that point?
Yes. Yes. Look, what is your APL? Q by L. Huh? So when your APL is rising like this, when your APL is rising like this, that means your L is rising along this line. You are
Yes,
employing
ma'am.
more and more labor. Okay. So L is rising. So the denominator is rising. The ratio is rising. That means the numerator is rising more than denominator. That is why the ratio is rising. Na?
Yes, ma'am.
So Q is rising more than rising L. If you are employing one additional labor, Q will rise more than 1. So this is very good for the producer. Producer is very happy, right? Producer
Yes,
is
ma'am.
very happy. I am employing one additional labor and the output is increased more than 1 unit. So I'm very happy. So in that case, what I will do, I am going to employ more and more labor, right? And as I am employing more and more labor, I am going from stage 1 to stage 2. This is how you cannot stay in stage 1. Okay. Stage 1 is forcing you to leave stage 1 to go to stage 2. So ultimately, you will stop in stage 2.
Okay, ma'am.
So in stage 2, your APL is start falling, but it is greater than your MPL. Stage 3 is cancel out. Stage 1 is pushing you to go to stage 2. So ultimately, you have to be in stage 2. So as a profit maximizing producer, producers should produce in stage 2 level of production. That is the conclusion. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the feature of stage 2? MPL is falling, APL is greater than MPL. So that is the stage where producer should produce finally. So this is the short run cost curves. Okay. Now the mathematical relation. We are discussing Logically, we have discussed the diagram. Now the mathematics is here. The relation between APL and MPL. Look, APL is equal to Q by L. So Q is equal to APL into L. Now differentiate this equation with respect to L. Then your left hand side is becoming MPL, del Q del L. And your right hand side you have APL plus L into del APL del L. Fine. So MPL, as your left hand side is MPL, so I'm writing it as MPL. MPL minus APL, that is coming from the right hand side. So MPL minus APL, that is equal to L into del APL del L. Okay. Now, initially your APL is rising. We know APL curve is inverted U shape. So APL is rising. So that means del APL del L is greater than 0. So if your left L is, L is the amount of labor. It is always positive. Now del APL del L is 0. That means your left hand side as a whole is positive. So your right hand side should be, your right hand side is positive. So your left hand side should be positive. That means MPL is greater than APL. So that means when APL is rising, this inequality means what? Your APL is rising. So if your APL is rising, then MPL is greater than APL. First condition, first relation. At maximum of APL, del APL del L is equal to 0, then MPL is equal to APL. Then after APL is falling, it should be P, APL. So del APL del L is less than 0, then MPL is less than APL. So whatever you have from the diagram, you can do it with the mathematics as well. Okay. So when APL is rising, MPL is greater than APL. When APL is at its maximum, then MPL is equal to APL. When APL is falling, then MPL is less than APL. Okay. So mathematically, you can prove the relation between APL and MPL. Okay, take your time and try to understand it. One thing only, this is a mistake. It should be APL. The P is missing here.
Ma'am,
Hmm.
ma'am, do we need to show the part of MPL which is negative in this diagram?
No,
Okay, ma'am.
because if MPL is negative, still your APL is falling. So the third part is enough. Nothing special will happen with APL if your MPL is negative.
Yes, ma'am, understood.
Okay, any other question? Acha. These things you have to remember when you are discussing the short run. MPL, again, this that should be subscript. MPL is considered in the short run, but sometimes in the long run also it is used when producer wants to know the contribution of only one factor given all other things. Yes, MPL is, as I said, as in the short run, labor is the only factor of production which you can change. So we are doing everything with respect to MPL. In case of long run, you can change capital as well. So in that case, if needed, you can use the term MPL. If needed, you can use the term MPK. Okay, so it's not like the MPL is only for the short run. You can, if required, you can use MPL term in the long run as well. Because in long run, as a L is still variable, you can change it, and the output will change accordingly given the capital and given the technology. Now the second one, as if technology improves, MPL curve will shift upward with origin as a fixed point. That means MPL curve will be like this. If there is a technological upliftment, and that will be in the long run, definitely. This is your initially, this is your MPL curve, right? If there is any technological improvement, then your MPL curve will be like this. Okay, but the origin will be fixed. Like, just a minute. This is the thing. It will also from here. The origin is fixed, but it will shift upward then after. Hmm. Sometimes law of diminishing marginal physical return is called law of diminishing marginal return. That physical part is missing. Okay, the thing is same. Sometimes we are just deleting this physical term. Law of diminishing marginal return and law of diminishing marginal physical return, both are same. Okay, this is actually just to clarify, nothing new here. Okay, so we have done the short run. The question from the short run, please ask. So no question, na? Okay, let me go to the long run. Now, as I said, in the long run, both factors are variable, labor and capital. Okay, for this part, the basic reference is Pindak and Rubenfeld, and sometimes I have taken the help from the Ferguson and Gold, but basic text is Pindak and Rubenfeld. Okay, you can get everything there. So in the long run, your production function is Q function of LK. Okay. Now the new concept here, isoquant. Okay. This is a new concept here. It is the locus of different combinations of labor and capital such that output is fixed. Look, it is very similar to indifference curve. Iso means same and quant is the short form of quantity. So it's a curve along which the quantity is same. Okay, same quantity, iso quant. Hmm. So it is the locus of different combinations of labor and capital, that means two inputs, such that output level, that is the quantity, is fixed. Okay, so what is the equation of isoquant? The equation is Q bar is equal to Q function of LK. Look, it's very similar to the long run production function. Q is a function of LK. It is also Q is a function of LK. What is the difference? The difference is Q is Q bar, because your output level should be fixed along this curve. Okay, so that is why Q bar function of LK. That is the minor difference. Any question from isoquant? I'm going to discuss the properties of isoquant and all, but regarding the definition of isoquant, do you have any query?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so it's very similar. As I said, it is very similar to the indifference curve. So it is, the look is also similar to the indifference curve. Now this is the slope of the isoquant. Those parts which are not available in the book the way which I want, so I have just done in my copy and make a snapshot and I'm showing it to you. the slope of the isoquant is so I'm just going to find out the slope of the isoquant. Fine. So the equation of the isoquant is q bar function of Lk. Now you just take total differentiation, just like the indifference curve equation, very similar. So as q bar is here, so if you are going to differentiate q bar, it will be 0, as it is a constant. And your right hand side, del q del L dl, del q del k dk. Now what is the slope? If you are measuring labor on the horizontal axis and capital on the vertical axis, then slope will be dk dl. Okay, so dk dl, that will be minus del q del L del q del k. Now what is del q del L? Change in quantity due to change in labor. Del q del L. Look, we have discussed it already. Del q del L. This is nothing but your MPL. Okay. Similarly, del q del K will be your MPK. So the slope of isoquant is nothing but minus of MPL by MPK. Okay. So the slope is dkdl, that is equal to minus of MPL by MPK. In case of your indifference curve, it was marginal utility of X by marginal utility of Y. Here it is marginal product of labor divided by marginal product of capital. Okay, the negative sign is there. It was there, it is here. Right? So this, any problem with this slide?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So this is the next one, marginal rate of technical substitution, just like marginal rate of, what was that? Marginal MRS, marginal rate of substitution. Can you remember marginal rate of substitution in case of consumer behavior? Here we have marginal rate of technical substitution, MRTS. Okay, MRTS LK, marginal rate of technical substitution of L by K. It is very simple. It is negative of the slope of isoquant. So your isoquant slope is minus of MPL by MPK. So MRTS is only MPL by MPK. Negative of this negative. So it will be cancelled out. So finally MPL by MPK. So MRTS is equal to MPL by MPK. So it's the absolute value of the slope of the isoquant. MRTS is the absolute value of the slope of the isoquant. Okay. Now the properties of the isoquant. I should, after discussing that, I will stop. Okay. So properties of isoquant. What are the properties? For positive MPL and MPK, here it is important. For positive MPL and MPK, isoquant is negatively sloped, right? If MPL is positive, MPK is positive, then this ratio is negative. So the isoquant is negatively sloped. But MPL may be negative. If MPL is negative, can you remember MPL may be negative? If MPL is negative, then isoquant will be positively sloped. Similarly, if MPK is negative, then also isoquant will be positively sloped. So in general, isoquant is negatively sloped, but if one of these two is negative, then the isoquant will be positively sloped. Two isoquants cannot intersect each other, like indifference curve. Higher isoquant, higher the level of output. Again, very similar to indifference curve. Isoquants are convex to origin as there is law of diminishing marginal returns. This is also very similar to the indifference curve. So these four are the main properties of the isoquant. Your question from the properties? So I'm just going to draw it. Just make your question.
Ma'am, can you please show the previous page once more?
Yes. Let me draw the isoquant, then I'm going there.
Okay, ma'am.
So this is Q1 level of output. This is Q2 level of output. This is Q3 level of output. Okay. And obviously Q3 is greater than Q2 is greater than Q1. So this is actually isoquant map. As there are three isoquants, so you can call it isoquant map. Okay. So this is very similar to the indifference curve. Now tell me your question from here.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, please repeat the fourth point that convex to the origin.
No. Let me ask her. She has a question from here.
Ma'am, okay, I understood, ma'am. Okay.
Done. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So your question. Isoquants are convex to origin as there is law of diminishing marginal return. So what the law of diminishing marginal return is saying? The marginal return is saying your MPL is first positive, maximum, negative, uh, falling, then negative, right? So this is the law of diminishing marginal return, and this is true for labor and capital as well as it is in the long run. Now, as you have it, so what will be the change of the slope of isoquant? The change of slope of the isoquant, it will fall. Okay, it will rise actually. The change of isoquant, that will rise as there is law of diminishing marginal return. Look, this is the slope. If you differentiate again, okay, then you will get the change of the slope. So if you differentiate again, that is d2k dl2, then it will be change of MPL and change of MPK. It's a combination of change of MPL and change of MPK. Now MPL, initially your MPL is rising at the decreasing rate, then attains maximum, then it is falling, and finally negative. As it is rising first, so the slope is also rising, attains. Do you get the point? So because of this law, your isoquant, the change of the slope of the isoquant is rising. And as it is negatively sloped and the slope is rising, that means it is becoming convex.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other question?
ম্যাম এটা একটু মানে খাতায় একটু করে দেখতে হবে মানে ওই D2K
করো না,
DL.
তুমি একটা কাজ করো, তুমি এটা লেখো, just
Okay, ma'am.
write it and differentiate it again. Okay. Other than this, any other question?
Ma'am, mean to say DDL of DKDL. We need to
The change of the slope of isoquant. DDL of DKDL. It's very similar. Actually, it's very similar to the indifference curve. In case of indifference curve, we are measuring two commodities in different axes. And in case of isoquant, we are measuring two inputs in two axes. Indifference curves are showing the utility level, isoquant is showing output level. Other than that, the properties are very similar. Okay. I have elasticity, returns to scale. I have a lot of things to discuss with you. But it is better to stop today. Do the math, and if you have any problem, please ask me in the next class. Huh?
Okay, ma'am.
Do it. Continue your thing and then ask me in the next class.